This story is real, and you're about to understand why thousands of people say it changed the way they see success forever. What happened to her wasn't luck, it wasn't talent, and it wasn't some life-changing opportunity. It was a moment that could happen to anyone, even to you. She didn't plan it, she didn't expect it, but what she discovered that night became the turning point of her entire life. Pay close attention until the end, because you might start questioning everything you thought you knew about freedom, happiness, and success. And trust me, the ending will surprise you. She had everything she once believed defined a successful life. A modern apartment overlooking the skyline, a career that paid well and looked impressive from the outside, and people who admired her discipline, ambition, and drive. From afar, nothing looked wrong, but up close, she was quietly falling apart. Every night, she'd walk into her apartment, place her phone face down on the table, and sit in the silence. Not because she enjoyed the quiet, but because she couldn't stand the noise inside her own mind. There was a voice she'd been avoiding for years, a whisper she never wanted to face. Why doesn't this feel enough? At first she ignored it, told herself she just needed a break, maybe a new project, maybe a vacation. But the whisper always came back, and each time it grew louder. One evening, after a long day filled with meetings, deadlines, and shallow congratulations, she walked to her car, but didn't start the engine. She just sat there, hands on the wheel, eyes closed, breathing slowly. And then, without thinking, she whispered the question that had been hiding inside her for years. Why do I still feel trapped? That was the moment everything changed. Not because she found an answer, but because for the first time she was brave enough to ask. Have you ever felt that? That strange heaviness when the world tells you you're supposed to be happy, but something inside quietly says, this isn't it. That was her awakening. The moment her life began to split into before and after. The days that followed didn't get easier, they got clearer. She started noticing patterns she had been too busy to see. Every goal she achieved, every milestone she hit, every moment of recognition gave her a rush, and then, just as quickly, left her empty again. It was like pouring water into a cup with a hole at the bottom. She thought she was chasing success, but in reality, she was running from emptiness. She didn't know what to do with that realization, so she did something she had never done before. She stopped, not forever, not dramatically, just for one night. She came home, turned off the lights, and sat in the dark. At first, the silence felt unbearable, but then something softened, something shifted. She began to notice the little things again. The hum of the refrigerator, the distant sound of traffic, the rhythm of her own breathing, the gentle reminder that she was still here. And in that quiet, one thought surfaced, soft but powerful. Maybe freedom isn't something I will find out there. Maybe it's something I need to find in her. The next morning she woke up earlier than usual. She didn't reach for her phone. She didn't rush. She made coffee and simply watched the sunlight spill across her kitchen counter. It had been years since she slowed down long enough to notice something so simple. And strangely, this new calm scared her. Because when you stop moving, you start feeling. And when you start feeling, you realize what you've been avoiding. Her friends didn't understand. They told her she was being dramatic, that she was lucky, that she should be grateful. They said things like, why would you step back now? You're doing so well. But deep down she knew the truth. Stable had become her prison, and comfort. Comfort was the most dangerous cage of all. So she did something unexpected. She didn't quit her job. She didn't run away. She didn't burn everything down. She simply shifted. She downsized her apartment. She canceled projects that drained her energy. She took long walks instead of late meetings. She started journaling, Not for productivity, but for clarity. She didn't change her life overnight. She changed what she paid attention to, and slowly her life began to change with her. There were nights she cried, wondering if she was losing everything she had worked so hard for. But every time she considered going back to who she was before, she remembered that question from her car. Why do I still feel trapped? And she realized something important. She wasn't walking away from success. She was walking toward its freedom. Weeks turned into months. And one morning, she opened her window and felt something she hadn't felt in years. Peace, not excitement, not adrenaline, not achievement, just pure, quiet peace. She smiled, not for anyone watching, not for approval, not for validation, but for herself. That's when she understood. Freedom isn't about adding more to your life. Freedom is about removing what doesn't belong. She still works, she still dreams, she still shows up. But now, her choices come from peace, not pressure, from clarity, not fear, from authenticity, not expectations. And that one shift changed everything. Because the truth is, you can have all the money, all the comfort, all the recognition, and still feel empty. But once you feel free inside, once you remember who you were before the world told you who to be, nothing can take that away. She had everything she thought she wanted, but it was only when she stopped trying to control everything that she finally gained herself back. Freedom isn't something you chase, it's something you remember. And maybe, just maybe, this story found you for a reason. Because what happened to her could happen to anyone, even to you. If this story moved you, wait until you hear the next one. It reveals a truth most people never realize until it's too late. Watch it now and discover why it might change the way you see your own life.